What's up, everyone? I don't know how you're doing, but as you can see, I'll just show you. Let this be a message that that's where I am. This is where I'm at. And I'm serious about it. And obviously, I had my doubts after year 3, and I had my doubts after year 4, and then I had my doubts after year 5. And here we are in year 6, and after week 1, with all the preparation you could have had, and that's the product we put on the field. I mean, the laughing stock of the NFL right now is the Miami Dolphins. Every single YouTube sports show, every radio show, ESPN, everybody was taking shots at us. And you know how annoying that is for Dolphin fans? Because the most exciting part about football season is when you win and you get to watch a bunch of shows talk about your team. And this is a team that's talented enough to be a playoff team. We know that. There's enough talent on the paper. But the product they put out there was actually humiliating. And I don't have to say it. You're all saying it. We all feel the same way. Right now, we're all overreacting. And we have the right to overreact. Dan Patrick even said, he had a whole segment where he went over each team and what fan bases are overreacting. And he said, we're probably overreacting. Maybe. What would it take for us to not overreact for the rest of the year? What would that actually have to be? And I said it. I said it today. I go, the only way you could fix this mess, and what I'm about to say is impossible, but the only way you could is if we would have to win 49-3. I swear to God, it would have to be 49-3. It could not even be 28-7. Wouldn't be good enough. It couldn't be 31-14. Wouldn't be good enough. It would have to be a complete domination and a humiliation of another franchise to make us feel a little bit better. So 49-3 is the number I put up. 49-3 over the Patriots. And then on that short week, you would have to go to Buffalo. And if you did lose, it would have to be because of like 3 points. It would have to be like a 31-30 game. If you did lose, for us to be like, oh, they figured it out and we're going to be okay the rest of the year. Because at this point, the best we could do is 1-2. At this point, 1-2 is the best. There's no way in hell you're beating the Buffalo Bills. Did everybody watch the Bills and Ravens play? That game should just tell you where your team's at. Everyone in the NFL, if you watch that game, you're nowhere near those teams. You're nowhere near. That was unbelievable. You're nowhere near those teams. I mean, there's no chance that Tua could ever beat either of those two quarterbacks. I would bet anything on it. He's not going to beat those guys. For him to even beat those guys, it would have to have a perfect O-line, already impossible. You would have to have a top 3 defense, pretty much impossible. And he would have to have a perfect game. Have we seen him ever do that? Even when he beat the Ravens and they came back, that wasn't a perfect game. Maybe the Denver game. So literally 2 years ago. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to try not to overreact. I'm going to try not to overreact. But the things we had issues with going into the season were the O-line and the secondary. Guess what? They were some of the worst. Outside of Tua, those were the worst things that I saw. Now, we ran the ball. It looked like we were able to run the ball good a couple times, right? I will say that. If you had to pick a positive, right? There was a couple good runs. But the pass protection didn't look great. And are the Colts is their defensive line that much better? I don't know. We don't know yet. We need to see more. But the O-line didn't look great in the pass protection, all right? And then it felt like the Colts were pretty much open all the time. All the time. And then this front 7 that's going to be so elite and save us, 1 sack because of it still took 4 seconds. It wasn't even a fast sack. I mean, we couldn't get to him. Are the Colts that good? Are they so good? Are they as good as the Bills and Ravens? I highly doubt it. But I would question that, like, could they win the division? I got to see him again. Because if I see him next week and they win and they play just as well, then I'd be like, wow, they're a good team. And we're not as bad as we were, but we were the worst team at the first week. Go look at all the games. We were the worst team. And so now you ask yourself, why were we the worst team? Because everybody was high on our defensive coordinator. We had a top 5 defense last year. And Weaver he's a good coach. People liked him. I think he even got a couple interviews. And I liked him and I believed in it. So that part of the ball is really disappointing. And then just Tua, listen, Tua's always going to have 2, 3, 4 bad games a year. That's just what he's going to be. You know, it's like Kirk Cousins would, Tannehill would. All the mediocre quarterbacks are always going to have that, right? They're always going to have 4 bad games a year. Kyler Murray will have a bad game. Garoppolo. I'm not saying Tua's a Garoppolo, but you could argue he's in there. Garoppolo. Sometimes he looks good. Sometimes he doesn't. That's what I look at. It's Tua. Tua is just a better Garoppolo. But you can't tell me it's not the same thing. Now, could Tua take the 49ers to a Super Bowl if everything went perfect? But in the end, would you bet that Tua's probably going to be a backup quarterback in 5 years? So no matter what happens this year, next year, if he's not on the team, maybe he gets that second shot, a new beginning, right? They get that new beginning somewhere. That's year 7 for him. Maybe year 8, he gets another new beginning, or he stays with that team because they're in the rebuilding mode. But by year 9 and 10 of Tua, if he's still in the league, he's going to be a backup. And that's really honestly how I feel about him. Because he's not improving. He hasn't gotten better. It's the same thing, just the offense is figured out. Mike McDaniel is figured out. And I love him, man. I love his personality. I think he is a good coach. And maybe he's just one of those guys who's a better coordinator. Like, look at Flores over there in Minnesota. He's an awesome coordinator. He's one of the best defensive coordinators. And he'll probably get another head coaching job. But, I mean, Tua's second interception, that was so bad. Dude, he has Tyreek open on the sideline. He has, I think, Achane running across the middle at the first down marker. He could have thrown it to him, and he throws it to the middle of the field and doesn't even see that linebacker. I mean, it was one of his worst interceptions I've ever seen. And you're making that in the first game of the season? You're making these mistakes in your 6th year? And you're supposed to be a Pro Bowler? And you had time? That was like over 6 seconds in the pocket. He had time to let things develop. That wasn't like that wasn't the first one that sailed. I can even excuse the first one that sailed because we've seen him do it many times. He's sailed balls plenty of times before because he overcompensates for those linebackers that are jumping the route, and then he tries to. I mean, why don't you always see Waddle and Tyreek jumping for the ball because he puts them up a little bit because they're jumping the route, and he sailed that one. So fine, you let that happen. It happens every once in a while. Then I was listening to someone break down his fumble, and they broke it down. It comes down to, like, again, getting the play call in late. And this has been a problem for all 4 years with McDaniel. Getting the play call in late and not simplifying the offense. And he hasn't done it, and this is the 4th year. So now you have to get a little frustrated. It's a complicated offense, and you're making it harder on yourselves when your quarterback is mediocre. This isn't Tom Brady. This isn't Patrick Mahomes. Look what Harbaugh's doing in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I feel like he's simplifying it for Herbert, and it's going to work. I mean, Herbert looked great. I don't know, man. Even if they turn it around next week and then they play good against the Bills, let's say they're even 3-3 in 6 weeks. What's the point? What's the point of this? What's the point? Are we we're just chasing a playoff appearance? That's what we're doing. There's 3 teams that are definitely going to be in the playoffs, right? The Ravens and Bills. The Chargers are definitely going to be in the playoffs. Probably the Chiefs. They always will come around and figure it out. Even if they start off slow. That's 4. There's 4 teams after 1 week. You're like, okay, 4 teams at AFC are definitely going to be in it. Chargers, Chiefs. You just have to throw the Chiefs. Do I think the Chiefs could go 10-7 maybe? Maybe. They're not going to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. You're out of your mind if you think that just off of 1 week. So the Chiefs are going to be in there. The Chargers look great. 1 from the South. Bills and Ravens. That's 5 teams. Bengals are better than the Dolphins. The Jets could be better. They could be better. We look like idiots. They could be better. Why didn't we go after Fields as a backup last year or even this year? Zach Wilson comes in the game. He couldn't throw the ball to anyone. Everything just looks so messy, and they just didn't look prepared. And could you chalk it up for like maybe the Colts had one of those emotional wins because the owner passed away? My whole point is, what are we doing this for? Like, what's the point? It's different if it was like year 3, we go to the playoffs, we get smoked by Kansas City, we lose that Tennessee game. That was the high of us, right? And if we don't lose that Tennessee game, we probably get a home playoff game. But that we're like, okay, this organization is headed in the right direction. We're making the playoffs 2 years in a row. Then last year happens, and then even though Tua got concussed and he was out and we had the backups, he did lose like 3 games. We did play, and the offense never looked the same as it was. And we didn't make the adjustments. And then you have a GM who admits the O-line is the problem. And what does he do? He drafts a guy in the 2nd round, so we have a rookie, and then the right guard we get is coming off an Achilles injury and gets hurt on like the 2nd drive. And then your right tackle has been banged up ever since we drafted him, and he's always been below average. So what did you really do to improve the line like the Bears did? The Bears improved it drastically, and they looked okay. They lost the game in the second half, but like it already looks way better for Caleb and that offensive line. I don't like that. I didn't like what we did with our offensive line. We lost Armstead. You have Patrick Paul. He played great. Fine. Maybe they said that he played great. I don't know how to watch film and decide whether an offensive lineman played great or not. You know, watch T. Armstead's podcast and maybe he breaks it down. But even when I watched his thing, he's not really saying how it is. He's like, they turned the ball over and they had negative plays and that's why they lost. Yeah, we know that. I know they turned the ball over and I know that's why they lost. If we didn't turn the ball over, we're still in the game. Yeah, we get it. But like, say what it is. You still believe in Tua? You think Tua can beat any of these guys in a playoff game? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you think Tua is going to outplay Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. What they were doing, it's not even about watching the Dolphins game. Just watching that game between the Bills and the Ravens, that's enough. What are we doing? Clear the house, and find me a quarterback that can keep up with these guys. Because even if the Jets played well against Rodgers and the Steelers, I'm watching those two teams. That was a fun game. They ain't beating the Bills or Ravens, man. They're not even on that level. At least Mahomes, can be on that level. But I'll tell you what, the Chargers, looks like they could be on that level. They could be on that level. They could get there. I know Burrow can. Maybe the defense isn't good, but I know Burrow can go head-to-head with those two guys. So that's 4 guys. Now, can Trevor Lawrence get better? He threw a pick. I don't know. I still need to watch him more. Can Stroud and Houston get there? I don't know, but they're definitely not there. All right? Can the Colts get there? Maybe. They ain't there yet. I mean, it was a great they played a perfect game, the Colts. But the Dolphins could be so bad. Let me watch them keep doing it. But they're not in that league yet. And the Steelers are not. Even though the Steelers they were playing the Jets, they're not on that level yet. They're not on the level of the Bills and the Ravens and the Chargers and the Chiefs. And, Bengals always start off slow, but I know that Burrow can get that offense going and he can keep up with those guys. Outside of that in the AFC, no one else can. Yeah, Raiders won. No chance. Okay? Broncos, Knicks looked a little rusty. Second year, no chance. No chance. Now, can they get better by the end of the year? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I know who's going to be in the Final Four. I know at least 2 guys are going to be in the Final Four. It's going to be one of those 2 guys. 3 guys, I'll tell you what. Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, or Burrow. I'll give you 5 names right now. I will bet you 3 of those will be in the Final Four. And I don't care what the team turns out to be. Tua's not beating them, man. He can't go head-to-head with them. Here's what you're missing, and this is what makes a great quarterback. When you just need to have a score, he's not going to do it. He can't do it. We can't do that. Even at the height of when the Dolphins were good, 2 years ago when we were 8-3, 9-3, before we lost that Tennessee game, They were good, and we were putting up a lot of points, but we were never playing from behind. Outside of that Ravens game, we were never playing from behind. And if we're behind, I don't believe we can come back. I just don't see it, and I don't think people fear. I don't think the Bills or the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Bengals fear if they're losing. I bet you all of them are like, okay, we got this one drive at a time. I don't see that with the Dolphins. Even at their best, they seem like a team that has to be up and be winning, and they play well with a lead. And that's not good enough to win anything in this league. So what are we doing? So you have a horrible contract on a mediocre quarterback. You have a coach that, call it what it is. I was shocked because I was against people saying that our team is not bought in. They're out on the coach. I go, who would think that before the season? Everybody wants to win. They want to play better. They want to get better contracts. They might believe that they can win or like the coach, but they were not prepared for that game. It was awful. They were not prepared at any point. And it's not even Tua. Nobody was prepared on all three sides of the ball. It was awful. It was just like, what the hell was going on? It was like they had no idea what was going to happen. And the Colts knew everything we were going to do. So if you're that not prepared, that falls on coaching. And then personnel-wise, you lose 2 offensive linemen in the first week. So our right tackle and our right guard are not going to be playing for at least 2 games because they're not going to come back on a short week. So already your O-line's banged up. And what do you have to show for it? And that's because your GM, that's what he put out on the field. That's the product. He goes, here you go, McDaniel. Here you go. This is what I'm giving you. And then another bad sign is when you sign Rasul Douglas a week before the season starts. Then you're showing your cards. You're like, oh man, we don't have anyone that good. Why? Why are you doing that a month before? Why didn't we do this back in July? June. You could have got Asante Samuel Jr. You could have got Justin. There's so many veterans out there. Why wouldn't you just bring them all in? You had like little money, just spend it. Give them the minimum. I don't understand the thought process on that. Like, are we stupid? Are the fans stupid? Like, I'm not saying it's easy to run a team or be a GM, but we've all played Madden, right? You have a salary cap. You have players. Maybe people don't, you interview them and you go, hey, this is the defense we want to run. Maybe they don't fit in the scheme. I can understand that. But surely you could have made your cornerback position way more competitive. There's definitely veterans out there. Or if you believed that this was a team that was ready to compete, you could have maybe even traded some draft capital to bring on some veteran cornerbacks. Okay? And you believe in your front seven, and you believed in the O-line, you couldn't improve the O-line. I mean, this goes back to like, listen, I know this defensive tackle from Michigan should be very good. I don't understand the pick. Now I go back on that. I don't understand why we're not drafting a lineman, one of the best linemen, if not moving up for one of the best linemen in the draft. That seems like the biggest thing. Our defensive tackle position, you had Zach Sealer, who had a great year last year. I just felt like that wasn't the weakness of the team. The weakness of the team was a cornerback or a lineman, and your first pick is a defensive tackle. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid, but that doesn't make sense to me. And we just have to accept it and be like, oh, we got a good guy. Yeah, he's going to be great. Is he? Is he going to be Aaron Donald? Because then what the hell are we doing? The hell are you doing? Because that doesn't seem like I'd rather be in the Bengals situation, right? I'd rather be in a Bengals situation where our defense sucks, but at least we're putting up 50 points and we're going head to head with someone because our quarterback is so elite and there's explosive big plays all the time. Xavier Howard, an ex-Dolphin, he's like, hey, all you have to do is take away Tua's read in his panic mode. That's a shot in the face, man, and it hurts because you know he's right. That's it. Cover Tyreek. Every single defense we play, just double coverage Tyreek. So then maybe our game plan first read is Waddle. Get that coverage. You know what was working for him when his first read was Achane? He was throwing little dumps to him, and he was getting 4 or 5 yards. Just do that all game then. If that's all you can do, Throw it to your running back for 4 to 5 yards and then keep running the ball. Trade Tyreek then. Because clearly they're just going to cover him. And you're saying Tua can't get to a second or third read if Tyreek's covered because the O-line's not good enough? What the hell are we doing then? Then just trade Tyreek for either players that are going to make our O-line better or draft capital going forward. Because that's their game plan. Tyreek's never going to have a big game. Because every team going in there is like, let's just stop Tyreek. Waddle will get hurt halfway through the game probably. He'll drop a ball. He'll get hurt. And then they're just going to have to run little short plays to their running backs and Malik Washington. Like, I don't see how you even fix this. Do I think, look, I think we'll win next week against the Patriots. But I don't think we're going to win 35-7. Like, I think it's going to be a nail-biter. I think our home opener against a team that's not as good as us on paper, isn't as experienced as us, and they don't look good. They're probably like, they were like one of the top 5 worst teams last week too. So, and we're gonna barely beat them. If we lose, goodbye, fire ever. If we lose, everyone gets fired. They have to, because you're gonna lose to the Bills, so you're starting off 0-3. If you're 0-3, what are we doing? Clear the house. Let's go. Who's clearing the house if you don't have a GM? Someone step in. Have Weaver coach the team the rest of the way. But if you don't beat the Patriots, it's over. Already. 2 weeks in, we get to find out if our season's over. But there's no way we're turning this around. Even if you do. Even if we turn this around and go 11-6, like I said, for what? For what? You're never going to beat those guys. He's not the guy. He's not the guy, and he can't beat those guys. So what are we even going to get excited about? We're going to have false hope? I mean, comment. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. I just don't see the point anymore. We got to deal with it. Maybe they get better and you get excited because they sometimes win and it feels good and we get to watch sports channels create narratives and stuff. But like, we know the product. Look how consistent the Bills and Ravens and Bengals and Chiefs have been. Look how consistent it is. You know there's no doubt in your mind, even though they battle each other, they're going deep in the playoffs. We've seen this product. This is our 4th year with McDaniel. This is our 5th year, our 6th year with Tua. We did this. By the way, no Miami coach has ever made it out of his 4th year besides Jimmy Johnson and Don Shula, and then Jimmy Johnson obviously retired after his 4th year as the Dolphins coach. So, I mean, this is just a recycle. This just keeps happening. The 4th year is always a disaster year, except for Jimmy Johnson. We made the playoffs but lost in the 2nd round. But every fourth or 3rd year for the coach is a disaster season. And, you know, the only hope I see is, like, do you bring Gruden in? That's fun. He's a tough guy. He'll bring a culture. Can he win still? I don't know. It sucks, man. It sucks because you're like, dude, just win that week 1 and let us be delusional. Let us be delusional for the year. Let us start off hot and be delusional and talk ourselves into thinking we could beat the Ravens or the Bills or the Chiefs in the playoffs. Let us believe for a little bit. There's no belief now. After seeing that after week 1, there's no belief. We suck. Even if we get better, we suck. Tua's not the guy. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. There's a lot of guys in the league who are not the guy. He's one of them. Okay? He's one of them. If he was in the NFC, maybe he could compete, but like Jalen Hurts is way better than him. Daniels is better than him. I'll take Dak. You know what? 2 years ago I didn't say this. I would take Dak over Tua all day. I'm taking Dak over Tua. I'm taking him. I might even take Sam Darnold over Tua. Because you know what? If he has a game plan, he knows how to run it. And guess what? He could go 14-3. I've seen him do it. I've never seen Tua go 14-3. I would take Sam Darnold over Tua. I feel like he could probably run Mike McDaniel's offense a little bit better. I don't know. Purdy over Tua for sure now. I mean, is Tua even a top 20 quarterback right now? I mean, he looked like a rookie. Some other notes I have around the league, if you guys want to hear. This is what I took. Dallas is tougher than we thought. I thought they played a great game against the Eagles. Maybe some of us thought they would be a 5, 6, 7 win team, even maybe 7-10. I honestly think that Dallas will surprise a lot of us, and they will be, in December, they will be playing for a wild card. Will they make the playoffs? I don't know. But you know how the NFC is. It's a little like there's a couple dominant teams, and then clearly after watching the Vikings tonight and then watching the Lions and Packers play and the Bears, that division's going to be tough. I think that the Giants are going to be bad. Obviously, I thought they were going to be a little bit better than we thought, but you're going to have Washington, Eagles, and now Dallas. I think could compete. I don't know. Yeah, I just think Dallas is going to be tougher than we thought. That's my note on there. Second note: Chargers are good, really good. I think they're going to be really good, and I think Herbert will be an MVP candidate. I think that's a legitimate thing. We could be. We're looking at the Harbaughs are geniuses. They are. And I think we are 1 year removed from being bad enough to get him. And that sucks. 2 years removed, I guess. But yeah, I believe in the Chargers, and I think Herbert could be an MVP candidate. And that's going to sting even more because if Flores was able to draft him, what does our team look like right now? Just imagine that. Imagine that. If he wasn't pressured by Greer to draft Tua or the owner, whoever it was. And a side note, I hate when people are like, get rid of the owner too. The owner doesn't matter, man. Ross isn't he's a good owner. He spends money. Get a good GM, man. And this can all change. You want someone like Ross. He's rich. He wants to win. He's willing to dish out money. He's not literally making decisions. He's asking people around him, and they're saying yes. He's got side men. He's got yes men next to him, but he's got people in his ear. He's not the Cowboys. He's not Jerry Jones. So, get off that. It's getting a good GM who's not. There's something about Greer who watches the money and values cap space and picks more than talent. It's fascinating. He's always just it's like he values security of the future, but it's like you're not even going to be there. You have all your picks next year already. But when the Rams won the Super Bowl, they had 2 picks. They spent it all, and that's what you should have done 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when you saw we were good going into last year, you should have got a solid backup quarterback. You should have traded picks for better linemen and better defensive linemen. You should have re-signed Wilkins. Maybe he doesn't get hurt and he plays better with us. You should have probably brought in another cornerback that was better and not Fuller from Washington. You had all this draft capital going into last year after you went 9-3, fizzled out at the end of the year, lost the Chiefs. You're like, okay, we got something. That was our run that year. You have draft capital, and you could have used all of it and built even a better team last year, had a better quarterback, maybe a better O-line, and maybe we make a run last year. But instead, you want to I understand you gathered a bunch of draft picks, but when we tanked, you did a good job. I'll give you that, Greer. When we tanked and we had Fitzmagic and we had Flores' first year and we traded people and we had 5 draft picks in the first 2 years, you did a good job. But you know what? You didn't do a good job drafting. Because that first round draft, all 3 of those guys are pretty much bust. Tua, Austin Jackson, and Noah, I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. And then in the second round, you drafted Robert Hunt. He's not on the team. And then who was the other pick you drafted? I forget. Someone correct me. But we had 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. Tua, Austin Jackson, Noah Incapacapaga, Robert Hunt was in the second round, and Javon Holland. 3 of them aren't on the team. 2 of them are probably bust. So thank you for all those picks. But here we are 5, 6 years later, and none of them are. Dude, if you have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds, I would hope that those 5, I would hope 3 or 4 of them are on your team in 6 years. And then the next year, your second round pick, Holland's not on the team. Your first round pick was Waddle. And then who was that? Who else did you pick that year? Didn't you have 2 first round picks that year? You got Waddle and Jalen Phillips, both injury-prone guys. So You tried your best, but it's done. It's someone else's turn. 6 years now with Tua and you rebuilding this team, no playoff wins. And there will not be a playoff win this year. There's just no way. Maybe you could turn it around some way and magically go 10-7 and get a wild card because the Colts faded out. Because right now they'll probably go 9-8 or 10-7, and they have the tiebreaker over you. Like, there's no way you're not beating any of the division winners. So it starts with the GM. I don't know where you get a good GM. I'll take what's his name. He's always on ESPN right now. Oh fuck, what's his name? That would be fun. And, too bad, McDaniel. But, I mean, I think you're going to have to go with a tougher guy. Just someone that's going to change this environment. And Gruden's the first thing that pops in my head. So, that about the Chargers. Eagles, Bills, Ravens are probably the best teams in the NFL. After that, those are the 3 best teams I saw. Ready to go. I would expect all 3 of those teams in the championship weekend. The Dolphins' collapse should be studied. Justin Fields can be good. That's a note I have. Justin Fields could be good. Elite, I don't know, but can he be a top 15 quarterback? He sure as hell can be. He could be better than Tua. Maybe all he needed was a better environment. He might have been better than Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh last year. He just needed the confidence behind him. Who the hell's going to win the AFC South? No idea. Could it be Jacksonville? Could it be Indianapolis? Could it be Houston? Not going to be the Titans. But who the hell is going to win that division? No idea. I'm excited to watch that division. I kind of am rooting for the Colts now. They kind of have a fun team. If Daniel Jones has his little, second chance and they do well, that's a fun story. I would like the Jags. I'd like to see them turn it around. The Raiders are going to be better than people thought. I mean, they were underdogs against the Patriots. I think that, listen, with Geno Smith, Genty, Brock Bowers, I don't know. I think they can surprisingly win a few games. I think they win more than 6 games. They could be an 8-9 team, a 7-10 team. Tough division, but they could beat Denver. Why not? They could sneak one out against the Chiefs or Chargers. Why not? Pete Carroll's awesome. Why not? Bucks will run away with their division. I think that's a landslide. I don't think, watching Atlanta play them, maybe another year away, but the Saints have no chance. Carolina doesn't look good. And Bucks are going to run away with that division. And maybe they can make a run again. And if Baker continues to play good, look at that, man. Look at that. I think the Rams win the West. There are a couple throws Purdy made, and you're like, you know what? He's just 2 years removed from what Tua was. I think in 2 years, the 49ers will be feeling how we feel about Tua. This year, he's going to play decent. And, but sometimes he makes throws, and you're like, what was that? And I'll bet you 2 to 3 games this year, he'll have 2 to 3 bad games, too. This year, Purdy. But I think they could be a playoff team. That's for sure. The 49ers. Rams, if everyone stays healthy, that defense looks elite. And then I haven't really watched the Arizona Cardinals play. But they won. But, they played the worst team in the NFL. Well, second worst team in the NFL is the Dolphins are the worst. My power rankings after week 1, and then I'll leave you guys. Power rankings, I got the Eagles at 1, the Bills at 2, Packers at 3, Ravens at 4, even though they lost, Chargers at 5, Chiefs at 6, Rams at 7, Commanders at 8, Steelers at 9, and the 49ers at 10. So I left out Bengals, and I left out... I left out the Bengals, and I left out Lions. I have to. They lost. I left out, That's just how I see it, you know? I mean, I feel like Bengals and Lions are the two that you could argue would be in there, but Lions lost. Um, Broncos, you know, I didn't think they looked great. So they're definitely not in there. But that's what I think this week, man. And you know, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's hard to be excited, and I feel like going into this Patriots game, we're just like, I'm just curious. I want to see like what I'm looking for is just to see how they how do they respond. If you know if they come out flat, like the Dolphins have to score on their first drive. You realize otherwise everybody's going to be booing them. It's going to be an ugly home game if they do not score on the first drive. Like they got to come out really strong, or people are going to be booing. It's going to be not a fun game to watch. So I'm just kind of curious. That's what I want to see. So we'll see. And guys, remember to like and subscribe and comment and let me know what you think. And I will be here every week, no matter what. It's not going to be fun. I hate recapping losses, but I can't imagine I'd put my foot in my mouth after seeing that. So maybe it will be fun to watch college football and dream about what players are going to maybe be on the team. Because if we really do bad, then you got to draft a quarterback. And it sucks because this is the bad year, but Arch Manning's coming out next year. But there is a lot of good quarterbacks this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.